discussing on SQL part. Okay, so the guys, maybe few of them might aware of SQL, basics of SQL, right? So the guys who are not aware, maybe for them it will be very useful. So yesterday we have started SQL discussion, okay, and then we have seen what is the difference between OLTP, OLAP, and then what is database schema and table and columns, and also discussed on data types. Okay, so that is at theoretical level, but we'll continue in creating and executing some SQL statements, okay, practically. So with that, I've just opened portal.azure.com. So I just logged in using user ID and password, right? So I have logged in here, and yesterday we have created this database. So I just clicked on the database, and here you can see query editor. So that's where we will be executing our queries. Okay, so I just clicked on this, and you can log in either this and this part. Maybe okay, then we'll try to do some exercises like maybe I can create schema, table, and some data, and then we can see some SQL statements. So as I mentioned, database is the high level namespace where we will be creating different schemas, and inside the schema we'll be having different tables. So that hierarchy and everything will be taken care by your database administrators. Even we will not be having access to create databases, schemas, or tables, or anything. So we'll not be having access. So as a data engineer, our responsibility is to insert the data or to extract the data and to do some analysis based on the data available in different tables. So we'll be doing some analysis. Okay. So we'll not be having access, especially to these DDL statements. So I'll come to that DDL statements and all. I'm seeing one beep. Okay, yeah, we have logged into SQL editor. Okay, suppose I'll just execute one or two statements. Okay, so create schema. Okay, so I have created schema inside this particular database. So as I mentioned, we will not be creating anything. Okay, so just for our purpose, our understanding purpose, we are creating, but in real time, we will not be creating this. Okay, so I have created schema inside this particular database. Now we'll try to create one table inside this particular schema. Okay, so instead of trying on our own, I'll use ChatGPT, right? So this will give you the create statement. So what exactly? What did this create? We'll discuss later, but I'm just using this code to create a table. Okay, and this table I'll be creating inside, suppose our schema, inside the schema. Keyword identity. We'll discuss what is that primary key, permission to data type. Okay. So if you see, we got can only have one time some column. Okay, so if you see, we got an error, right, when we are not using data type. So that means SQL, it expects the table name and column names. So these are the column names. And for each column, it expects the data type. So data type will tell you what is the data, what is the type of data which sits inside your column. So product ID, it should contain integer values, numerical values. Name, it should contain a product name, which is string characters. Okay. So likewise, we just need to specify what is the data type for each and every column. Okay. So we have created this particular product table. Okay. So once we create the table, right, we can't. Suppose this is your table. So to see the data, create is a statement what we have used so far. And I would like to see the data. What is the data available in my table? So if I do this select statement, you will be able to see the data. Actually, we just created this table, but we don't have any data inside this, right? So that is the reason we will not be able to see any data from this particular table. Okay. So what is the syntax? What is the star and everything we'll discuss, but just for the insert statement, I'm just trying to uh, tell you what is this. And now what I will do is I will insert the data, okay, into this particular table. Suppose to get some data, right? So again, to insert this data, you just need to do something like this: insert into suppose this particular table, okay, and then values, and then you have to give some values over here. So based on your values, like 100 is a product ID, name is something, something like this. Okay. So instead of manually doing all this stuff, you can simply ask your ChatGPT uh, for the table. Yeah, if you see, I can copy this. So it gave you that statement, insert statements. So insert it to this particular table, the product ID name, these are the columns, and these are the values. So simply go and execute this. Okay, so 5 rows got inserted into your table. So again, execute this. So now you can see your data. Okay, so data inside your table. Okay, so but so if you want, you can create your tables and work on this. But while creating this database, right, we gave one option sample. So that is the reason we will be getting some tables already, tables and data inside the tables. We'll be getting. We'll see whether the data is available or not. If not, then we will create some tables and we will work on that. So simply you can use something like create a few tables for sales, inventory, business, something like this. If you say like this, it will give you some tables. Suppose product category, customer, sales order, inventory, something like this. So based on that, what is the category table and what is maybe sales table, customer table, order table. So something like this. So you can create these tables and you can ask maybe create or insert 100 sample records into order item. So if you say like this, it will give you 100 sample records and you can straight away insert those records into that particular um, query, okay, query editor, so that you will be able to see the data. So likewise, you can use your ChatGPT instead of working hard and working taking longer time. Okay, so that is how you can create your schema and then you can create your table. Okay, so with this, let me pause over here and I'll go to home again. So this is one editor where you can write your queries and you can execute your data analysis and you can do this stuff from this particular query editor. Okay. So another one more opportunity where we can use a database and work with these tables and everything. So that is Azure Open Studio. Open Azure Data Studio. So this is another service platform where you can connect to the database and you can work on that particular tables and everything. Okay. So this will be available in this start developing inside the database. You can go to the start developing and there you can see Open Azure Data Studio. So this is more flexible to work. So I'll look into this. So if you see here, so for the first time, right? So if you are not having Azure Data Studio in your machine, you have to download. It is just a download button and then next, 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 next. That will download into your machine. Okay. So since I'm already having it, I'm just saying launch it now. Okay, it will open another service altogether where we can work on the SQL from Azure. So here you can see the sample tables and everything. Okay. Okay. So here, if you see, you have to connect to our server, right? So this will come into picture. So connection details. So this is another service altogether, right? So you have to connect to our server where we have created in our Azure portal. So you have to connect to that, and you have to use the database or tables, and you can work on it. Okay. So for this, it is server name. So server name, you can get it from here. Suppose if you go here, uh, database, and this is your server name. Okay, so you just copy and you have to paste over here server name. Okay, and then authentication is SQL login or Microsoft Entra ID. Entra ID is something based on your username, you can be able to log in. So I'll say SQL login. So here you have to specify your user ID and password. So what is the user ID we give? I think this is the user ID. So user ID and password and connect. Okay, so now you have connected to that particular database. Okay, and if you see tables, if you see the tables are already available. So since we gave sample while creating the database, it gave us the tables and everything. So if you go here and suppose address, select top 1000 or something. So this will give you what the data inside that particular tables. Okay. So since we gave, right, this has automatically created that particular self statement and gave you that information. So which is available in your particular table. So likewise, we have these many tables: address, customer address, product, sales, all these details. Okay. So sometimes, right, while connecting to this Azure Studio, you may get some runtime error. Okay. So if you get that runtime error, that may be because your IP address may not be uh, proper, so it is not listed properly. So in that case, what you need to do is you have to go to server. Actually, you have to go to server. So this whatever I'm saying now, this is if you get an error. Otherwise, it is okay. If you get an error while connecting to that particular Azure Studio, then what you need to do is you need to go to this security inside your server, not database. Okay. So inside the server, go to security, networking, and then you need to see whether it is public network access is selected networks. So this has to be enabled. It should not in disable mode. And then here, whatever you are seeing here, right? client IP address. So that should be available over here. So if you see here, it is available. So that is the reason I was able to connect it to my studio. If it is not listed over here, so then you just click here. So that will be added like this. Okay, so then you are good and you can be able to connect to that particular Azure Studio without any issues. So remember this. So if you get an error, you need to come to this point and you need to check these 2 points, whether this is enable selected networks or and you have to add this particular thing. It is not available, that a particular IP address. Okay, so since it is already there, I'm just discarding. So I'm coming back to this one. Okay. This one is Azure Studio, right? It is more comfortable and easy to navigate and everything. So instead of query editor, right? So this is more comfortable. Okay. And also what you can do is whatever you are writing the queries. Suppose I'm writing one more query here. Select something address ID from this particular table. Okay, so likewise, you are executing suppose some 50, 100 different queries. Okay, so simply you can go here and you can save these queries as a file somewhere here. Okay, uh, and you can save those queries as well. Okay, for the next time, or you can save you can share that particular file to others, and simply you can go here there and you can open that particular file. Okay, so that can be done. SQL. Yeah, this one. So this will open that file. So whatever the queries are there. Okay, so that is how we can manage. So if you are connecting to multiple databases, those databases you can see over here. So that can be done. Okay, so likewise we'll be using this Azure Studio. So instead of query editor, we will be using this going forward. Any questions? Okay. Yeah. So that is how we will be connecting to Azure Studio and we will be working on that particular Azure service. So we have seen,
Rajesh, Rajesh, here only one console or different consoles in the Open Studio?
uh-huh.
If you use the control N, we will get new window.
You
Like,
mean
yeah,
like, yeah, you can be able to do that. This is just like our other SQL
SQL.
interfaces. Yeah,
Okay,
you'll
yeah,
be having SQL, this one like Toad, something like that.
right.
So
Okay, got it.
this also similar to that. Okay. And then coming back to this, yesterday we have just discussed at high level, right? What there are different kinds of statements: DDL, DML, DQL, TCL. So many other things will be there, but for now that is not much required. So if you take these three different categories, so DDL is nothing but data definition language commands, where we will be using create, alter, drop, and truncate statements. Okay, so these will work on uh, like what when we execute this is auto committed, so we will not we can't roll back whatever we have done on this part. Okay, and definitely as a data engineer we will never have access to these statements. Okay, so you'll not be having access to create and alter, but at least drop and truncate sometimes through programs, through ADF or through Databricks. So we may have access to these drop and truncate. Okay, so we'll see what these statements are and what is the functionality behind these things. Okay, so create is a statement where we will be using this to create any database object. So object in the sense anything. It may be, if you see here, it may be a database. We can create a database by using create database statement. Create schema. We can create, if you want to create a schema, we'll be using create schema. Table, we will be using create table. Create view. So what is view we'll be discussing. So for now, to create the view, we'll be using create view, index. We'll see index as well. So what is the importance of index? So create index, create procedure. Procedure is something like store procedure. It is at your database, right? If you want to write some coding, so I want to uh, create some temporary variables, and I want to do some merge statements. So something like that. And if you want to return something, then you will be creating stored procedures. So that is SQL developers used to do that. Then create trigger. Trigger is something like to schedule. Suppose there are event-based triggers or time-based triggers. So this is common topic again. So everywhere you can see this kind of functionality. So if you want to create trigger, you'll be using create trigger, and then user. So if you want to create user, you'll be using create user. Likewise, a role. So if you want to create any role, you will be using create role. And if you see here, right, learning, I always prefer and I always suggest to the people, resources, students to learn anything conceptually, not technology wise, tool wise. Okay. So if you see here, trigger. So this is very common concept across any programming language. It's not that we need to see the syntax. Don't look at syntax, look at concept. So what is trigger? What is the concept of trigger? So the same concept you can see inside ADF, inside ADB, inside Ab initio, inside Java, Python, everywhere you can see this same kind of concept. Maybe syntaxes might be different, but concept is exactly same. So same way, create user. So here, to connect to SQL databases, to connect to SQL schemas, to extract, you'll be having different users. Okay. So in Azure, we have seen how to create user. So there is a Microsoft Entra ID. Inside that Microsoft Entra ID, we will be creating users groups, and from there, they'll be authorized to access Azure service. Likewise, here also they'll be creating user, and he is responsible to do something, and he'll be accessing to access these objects. Maybe he'll be accessing to databases, or he'll be accessing to particular tables. So that depends on the role. So again, in Azure, we will be creating role. So so based on that, he will be decided like what kind of actions he can perform. So that is role. So similarly for SQL as well. Similarly for Ab initio as well. So if you see, in Ab initio, you'll be having particular access, maybe EME, only particular branch access, or to only GDE and EME access. There is no access to Express It. There is no access to MHub. So something like that. That is a role actually. So there we will not see that kind of information, but when you are working here, right? So you'll be seeing that. So likewise, your learning should be conceptually, not to technology wise. Why? Because today you are seeing one technology, maybe tomorrow it may not be available. But if you know the concept, you can easily switch over from the technology to technology. And also, if you are good at one technology, okay, being it Ab initio or Unix shell scripting or Python, so it is very easy to adapt new technology when you learn conceptually, not syntax, not only to that particular technology. Okay, remember that. So likewise, we'll be using this create statement, and also don't ever by heart any syntaxes or anything. Okay, so this is the different options, the different use cases of your create statement. Okay, so we have seen create database, create database we have not seen, create schema, create table we have seen already. Okay, likewise we can use based on the interest, we can be able to use this. Okay, so we never have access to create statement in our projects. Similarly, the next statement is alter. Alter is a statement where we will be using when you want to add a new column or drop a column. So you have a table, product table, and you have created the table with 10 columns, and you want to add one or two more columns, or you want to delete some 2 3 columns from your table, already existing table. Then you will be using this alter statement, and you can do that. Maybe syntax again. I'll never by heart the syntaxes. So alter statement for adding columns in SQL. So it will give you alter table, modify, add column name, data type. So to this particular table, add this particular column, which is of this particular data type. So that will tell you how to do that. So likewise, you can use addition, modification. That means suppose I want to change my uh, data type from integer to string, integer to character. So that is changing your registering column. So that also can be done by alter. So renaming a column. Suppose I'm having PID as a column name and I want to make that to product ID. So then you'll be using alter. So and change the table name or the schema name. So you have created a table with the PRD for product, but you want to make this as a product. Then you will be using this alter. So likewise, if you existing table, existing columns, I want to make some changes, then you will be using this alter. Okay, so similarly drop, whatever we have done here, right? So create database, create view, create trigger, create role, everything. So if you want to drop, if you want to delete, okay, so then we will be using this drop. Drop database, database name, drop schema, drop table, drop view, drop index. So likewise, you can use this drop for on all these objects. So drop is simply drops from your database. Okay, and then truncate. Truncate is something you will be truncating the data. Truncate meaning uh, it delete entire data from your table. Suppose I'm having truncate a table name. So this will truncate the data from your table. So you have a product table where you'll be having multiple columns. Suppose I'm having 100 records. So what this will do is this will remove these 100 records, but your structure will remain same. Structure will be in your system. Okay, in your database, your structure, table structure will be there, but your data will be removed. Okay, so the same thing will be done by drop as well. So when you say drop table name, so what this will do is this will drop your entire table. Okay, entire table in the sense there is no structure at all, there is no records. So records and as well as structure, there is no table name itself. So if you say truncate table product. Okay, so product table will be available in your database, but inside that particular product table, there is no data available after truncate statement. But the drop product, so what this will do is this will entirely remove your product table itself from your database. So there is no product table name after your drop statement. Okay, so both are DDL statements, but difference is this one. So then why do we need to, why do we have two and what is the use case of this truncate table statement? Okay, so any suggestions, any guess? I know definitely you, some of you guys know the use case.
What is it? Raja? Drop table.
Yeah, truncate table. When can we use this truncate table?
So if truncate table any data before loading, we need to complete the complete remove. I mean complete delete and load, right? That time you use truncate.
Yeah. So usually, right, I'll give you one concept. Okay. So in ETL perspective, what we do is ETL is whatever we are performing as a data engineer, extracting data from different sources, transforming according to the business users, and then loading into your target system. A target system is maybe ADLS or some database, whatever it is, right? So while doing this, usually what we do is we extract the data from source system, okay, extract it from here, and then do transformation, and after that load into some stage tables, stage staging area or stage tables, whatever you can call anything. So in staging area you will be loading, and after that we will be loading into target. Okay, So we'll be loading into target. Why? Because so hitting the actual target, sometimes it will degrade the performance, and sometimes we will corrupt the data. So some scenarios will be there. So to avoid that, what we will be doing is on daily basis, whatever we are performing the operations, so we'll be extracting the data, transforming the data, and loading into first staging table. Suppose you want to load into product table. Product is your target system. Okay. So for that corresponding product, you will be having product underscore stage table. Okay. So first we'll be loading into product stage table, and then we'll be loading into target table. So during that, so today you have done, suppose on this particular day, you have loaded into this particular table, and finally you have dumped that data into your target table. And again, tomorrow when you start doing this, first what you need to do is you need to delete the data from your stage table, which is a temporary table which holds only that particular day data. Okay, so you should not drop this. To remember that if you drop this again, you need to recreate. So our intention is table should be there, but I need to truncate. I need to delete the entire data, and then I need to dump this particular data into this, and then I need to process that to this. And tomorrow again truncate and load into this table, and then update to target table. So this is a recurring process. And so in those kind of scenarios, we will be using this particular part. Okay. So any questions? Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. Learn it conceptually. Suppose in the same way you are writing some Unix script or Python script. So you are writing some Unix script and Python script. So here what you are doing is you are extracting some file data, and then you are creating some output file. So the output file name is out dot suppose dat. Okay, out dot dat is your output dot dat file name. So after extracting your file, you are doing some cut operations, and then you are doing some grep operation, and you are creating some one temporary file. And after that, I'll extract this temporary file, and then I'll be doing some AWK and creating some output file, temporary output file again. So after that, I'm doing something, and then I need to append my data, maybe do something like while inside the while loop, I'll be doing some logic. Okay. And then I need to append the data to my output dot dat file. Okay, so every day, whatever the data I'm extracting, I need to apply some operations, and I need to create my output file. Okay, so if this is the case, uh, and my expectation is I want to create this on daily basis, and I need to make the operations. Okay, if this is the case, and if I use the logic something like this, if you are not aware of Unix shell scripting, don't worry, just see the concept. Again and again, I say every time look at the concept, don't look at the syntax. Okay, so if you have that mindset, excellent, you will fit into any technology and to any project. If you do not have that mindset, learn that mindset. Okay, so here I'm appending to my output.dat. So if you are not truncating this output file every day, so you will end up the previous day's data as well into this particular output.dat file. Suppose you have executed the script on this particular day. So there you got some 1,000 records. And next day you have suppose 10,000 records. So your intention is I want to see only 10,000 records. If you don't delete prior data, you will see this. So that's why you have to truncate the file data. So inside Unix, you can truncate the file just by this statement. So this is syntax, but learn the concept. After that, maybe inside the chat GPT, if you ask how to truncate the data in your file in Unix shell scripting, that will give you the syntax. Okay. So this is concept. Then this is also concept. So something like that. Okay. So that is how we will be using truncate statement. Okay. So too much of explanation, but yeah, need to understand. So that is how we will be using this DDL statements. Any questions on this? So understand the difference between drop and truncate. Suppose I don't want to use, I am not interested in a particular table at all. So I don't want to see the table from my table. Then only we will be using this drop statement. Okay. So sometimes what will happen, right? So I'm having a table, product table, which is available in my database. So my business use case is, it is one of the use case for drop statement. Not this is not it is not that this is the only use case. Okay. I have a table for every day. There is a chance of changing the field names or number of columns. So I'm having 10 columns today, tomorrow maybe two more columns maybe added, next day three more columns maybe removed, something like that. If your scenario is like that, so what we will do is we will extract the data from source system. Okay. So from source, we'll be extracting the data, and after that, we'll apply some transformations. And after that, we need to load, right? So before loading, what we will do is we'll drop that particular table altogether, and then we'll recreate and then load. Okay. So in those scenarios, we'll be using this drop statement. Okay. So don't look at your perspective. Look at your productionized business use cases. So through programs, you need to do that. It's not that I can go to query editor and I can do that. No. So as part of your programming, as part of your process, you need to apply all these statements or scripts or anything. Okay. I told you one thing, right? One is concepts, learn the concepts. And second thing is your learning should be in generic way. Coding will be in generic way. Okay. So what do you mean by generic way? So you always think in terms of generic process. So if I ask you, what is the addition of 10 and 20? Okay. It should be 30. But don't write your logic to add 10 and 20. Add your logic to add A and B always. Okay, so here these are parameters. So everything you need to think of in terms of parameterized way of coding, being it Ab initio, Unix, Python, whatever the technology, name it. Okay, so you have to think in terms of generic way. Okay, so this is very common and much required in any of the projects. Okay, uh, and even you will learn very easily any technology. Okay, so with that DML statement, right? So DML statement, it's a data manipulation language. That means your data is available, your not data, your data is available or your objects are available. You have to do something. You have to manipulate something inside your table or inside your data. So then we will be using this DML statements. So one is insert. If you want to insert something inside your table, then we'll be using this insert statement. Update is if you want to update inside your table, I want to update some sales amount equals to something when customer ID equals to this. So when customer ID equal to this, I want to make some changes there. So if that is the case, we can go with this update statement. Delete is again, you can delete your data from a table. Suppose I want to delete the table. So then what is the difference between these two is DML is not auto commit and this is auto commit. And another difference is truncate, it will truncate the entire data. So when you use truncate table name, that's all. Our entire data will be deleted or truncated. But when you use delete statement, right? So you can delete from table table and table name. Okay. And also you can do whatever what you can do is delete from table name, where suppose region code equals to something New York. So likewise, you can do that. Okay, so you can delete either entire table or based on some condition. I want to delete only New York region data from this particular table. The remaining data will be as it is. So likewise, you can apply some conditions when we use this delete statement. Okay, so that's how we will be using this delete. select is your if you want to select some data from your table, then we will be using this select statement. So while doing that, usually we'll be doing select. Here I am using top 1000. So if I am not using top, it will give you all the records. To fetch all the records, it may take some time. So that is the reason it is giving top 1000. So otherwise, if you give without this, it will give you all the records. Okay. So and also here while selecting, you can specify column names. So okay, so here they gave all the columns. Otherwise, I can give star as well. So star will give you all the columns inside that particular table. Or I want to get only few columns. I don't want to see all the columns. Then you can specify only particular columns so that we can see those columns alone. Okay. Uh, yeah, we'll see lots and lots of use cases, and we need to use select statement only for that. Okay. And we have these classes. So basically, when you say SQL, we'll be having these classes, right? Select from where group by having order by. Okay. So I want to see the data from a table. Then I will be using select something, right? From where? From which table, okay, or from which subquery, or from inline query. So that we'll see. So from which table you want to extract, that you have to specify inside this from class. Okay. And select is what do you want. So from this particular table, what is your expectation? So that you will be specifying inside this select statement, that is select and from. Suppose while extracting the data, okay, and also, if you are non-ETL guys, right? Don't get confused. Why do I need to select? What is the statements and all? Okay, tune your mind. It is we are going to work on data. Okay, so data meaning you have to extract the data and you need to do manipulations. Suppose I want to know what is the sales amount from region New York in quarter 2025 third quarter. Okay. And get the top 10 customers from different regions. Okay. Okay. So since I gave that one, and get the top 10 customers and get all their household details. Okay. So if this is the business use case for the business people. Okay. So here you will understand everything. Household meaning. So if you are a customer, okay, and your name is something Ram. Okay. So you are staying in a house, and your wife, your son, and your brother or father are staying inside the same house. Okay. So maybe you are a customer for a bank, suppose HDFC Bank. So maybe your housemates, maybe your household, um, your wife, son, or father also might have accounts inside this HDFC as well. If not, why? Okay, how to get them into HDFC? Something like this. Okay, so being the top 10 customers for my bank, but still your household people are not into HDFC. I need to analyze and I need to get them into my domain, my business. So how to do that and all. So if that is the case, so for what we need to do, we need to process your data and we need to get the information and we need to give that list, top 10 customers and their corresponding household details, whether they belongs to my bank, whether they are using my bank products or not. Okay, products you mean, again, you can say debit card, credit card, all those things will come under product in terms of banking terminology. So likewise, if this is your scenario, so as an ETL developer or as a data engineer, what you need to do, you need to extract. First of all, you need to extract. Maybe uh, there from this particular use case, right? Maybe the data is available in sales table, product table, household table, and then customer table, and then region table. So to get this information, the information is available in these many tables. So you need to extract from this, and you need to join this table to this table, and you need to extract the required information. So to fulfill that, we need to understand so these technologies. So inside SQL, how to do that? Inside the ADB, Databricks, how to perform this operation? If it is ab initio or data factory, how to perform this? So to do that, we need to understand the technology part. So that is the reason we are discussing all this stuff. So if this is the case, right? Suppose here, if you see region equal to NY, meaning New York region, I'm expecting only New York region. So that means from this particular total table, I'm interested only a particular, suppose here, I want to see only the persons who are who belongs to this particular city. So if that is the case, you need to use this where condition. So where is another class which will apply filter on your table. So if you want to write some any filter conditions, we'll be using this where condition, where city equals to this one. Okay. Um, yeah. So while doing this, right, for any characters strings, you always need to give insert the single quotes. For date also, you need to give single quotes. If it is integer, right? So you should not give quotes. So remember that. So in any technology, that is common. So this will give you the persons who belongs to only to that particular city. So in that cases, we will be using this where condition. Okay. So I'll remove this where condition because we see very less number of records. Okay. So that's how we will be using where condition. And then suppose country region. So if you see this country region, I want to see how many number of customers, okay, belongs to each region. Suppose United States, I want to know how many number of customers are there inside United States, how many in Canada. So something like that. So maybe I may have multiple regions. I want to see the count from those things. So if that is the case, if you logically think, what is your expectation? You want to see the count from a particular region. So that means you have to group that particular region, and you need to say United States is one group, Canada is another group, maybe Mexico, that is another group. So you have to group it, and then you need to make some operation. So the operation now is count. I need to get the count. Okay. So if that is the case, if that is your scenario, you need to use group by class. So group by is another class, and you need to say what is your, on what basis you want to group your records. Group by country region. Okay. So when you do this, you can't select everything. Okay. So since you are doing group by, why is this giving? Okay. So since you are using giving group by, you can't select all the records. Suppose I want to see United States. So if you are selecting other columns, so what value it has to provide? So United States is common, but these are some different values, right? You can't select all the values. You just need to select same column and some aggregations. So what do you want? Maybe you want count, some aggregation functions will be there that we'll discuss. So only those things you can select. Insert syntax in here from group by. Select from group by. Why is this giving this error? Okay. Let me ask ChatGPT. I don't see any error.
అన్న గ్రూప్ స్పేస్ బై అన్న.
Oh, thank you very much. Uh, See, this is what I'm saying. Maybe I might be missing some syntaxes. I never look at syntax. And from the past 2.5 years, I have learned almost 26 technologies. Okay. So I'm basically from ab initio. From ab initio, I jumped into Informatica, data stage, Python, PySpark, Java, and then AWS, Hadoop, now into Azure. Okay. So I also AI. Okay, AI from very recent past. So definitely I'll be missing some syntaxes. Thank you very much. So here you have done group by. Okay, and you are selecting something, but you have not given anything. So this give you as per your expectation. So after group by, what do you want? So I want how many number of customers are there in each region. Okay, so then this will give you inside the Canada, I have this. Okay, so instead of count, maybe we will see other factor. Uh, Postal code, row ID. Okay, so this is not having proper like the for our use case, it's not appropriate table. I'm using a sales order detail table. So sales order table, it will be having sales order ID, detail ID, order quantity, and also right. So try to analyze the data. Okay, try to analyze the data. That means suppose I'm seeing this sales order detail, right? So this is called functional knowledge. Okay, so try to get the functional knowledge as well. That is more important. Apart from your technical knowledge, functional knowledge is also important. You can since it is sales, right? We know very easily. But when you are working in the projects, what kind of data it has? So if you say sales order ID, that means maybe this particular customer might have purchased a particular product. So those sales details will be available in this sales order detail table. So what is the order ID and what that particular person has purchased, and what is the product ID, and what is order quantity, how much he has purchased, and what is the unit price, and is there any discount on that particular price, whatever he has purchased, and then what is the total? Obviously, it is order quantity into unit price is equals to total, and maybe this is some unique ID which has been developed done based on each transaction. So this is transaction, right? And on what date he has done that particular purchase. So likewise, any table, if you open, you need to understand the data. So then your based on use case, you can design your solution effectively. Okay, so if you see here, I have done this, and then what I will do is now based on product ID. So how many number of customers purchased at product level? So product ID in the sense, it may be suppose A36, it may be a product which belongs to maybe some um, carom board, or maybe 907, it maybe belongs to some shirt, so something like that. Okay, government. So I'll go with this product ID. Group by product ID. Okay. I'll say count on this. How many number of customers are there for each product? Okay. And now you are seeing your products right here, but I want to see in a structured way. So I could see 701, 770, something like this. But I want to see it in some order fashion. So the highest number of customers who is purchasing a particular product, I want to see in that in descending order. If that is the case, you can use this order by class. Order by will tell you your sorting order, how to sort your data on your selected columns. So here I want to see, suppose again, one more concept. So here I'm saying count star, and I have not given any column, right? Suppose I want to give a column name for this, alias name. So that you can do by using this yas. Yas, suppose total underscore count. Okay. And I'm using this total underscore count over here. So now this will give you order by that particular count. And so here, if you see, it is giving in ascending order, but I want to see the highest total count at the top, so that you can use this DESA, descending. Okay, so that is the syntax. You have to use that. So now I could see something like this. Okay. And out of this, I want to get only the top 10 customers. Then I can say top 10. So this will give you something like this. Okay. So instead of top 10, we have another opportunities, another syntaxes and everything. So that can be done by a rank, dense rank, row number. So some functions will be there, analytical functions that we will see. Okay. So based on that also, we can be able to write the queries. So here I'm doing this, right? Okay. I assume that I'm not using this top 10. Okay. I have done this. So now my interest is, if this total count, so the number of customers for a particular product, right? I want to see the products which are doing not well, like a product which is in my region. There are very less number of customers. Assume that if the customer count for that particular product is less than so here sample data, right? We are having only something like this. Suppose 1,000 customers. If the customer count for a particular product is less than 1,000, I want to list out those products and I want to analyze the product on that particular products. What is the problem with that products? Is it because of product quality, or is it because of that product may not be applicable to that particular region? Something like that. Based on that, I will take some business decisions. So if that is the case, what I need to do? So here you have done total count. That is good based on product ID. Now I want to see the count of that particular products. Okay, so then you need to use having clause. Having is a where condition applied on group of records. You have seen where condition earlier, right? Where is a row level condition, so that will be applicable on your total data and select some records. But having is a condition based on your group. So here in this use case, I want to see if the number of customers count is less than, suppose here, less than 5, I want to see those records. So I'll say count of this is less than 5. I want to see those records. Okay. If I see this, now the 10, those records will be gone. Only the records which is required for my use case, my product is less than 5, then those records will come into picture. So this is how you will be using these different classes. Okay. So any questions? And order, actually this is very uh, not common. Maybe people will get confused. What is the order of execution of these classes? Any guess? Maybe this is a lost topic. and we'll continue the next on Monday. Tell me, what is the order of these things? Assume this is one, this is two. Yeah. At order of execution, that means, suppose you are writing something like this. Okay. So assume you are not having this, you are just having these things. Okay. So when you execute this, which will execute first? Select or from. So likewise, when you are using where and then group by and then order by and then having, you are using all at once. Assume you are using all these things. So which statement will execute first? Okay, from and then something like that, right? So can you tell me what is the order of execution? So just give me that numbers, maybe five, then four, and then three, something like that.
Yeah, it's two. It start from
Yeah.
then 2, 3,
Okay.
4, group by,
Okay.
and having 5.
Okay.
Then come one select.
Okay.
The last one 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other? Anyone else? It is
That's it.
correct.
That is correct.
Good. Yeah, good. This is the order. It is just a logical thinking, right? So first you need to extract from somewhere. So that is where you will be extracting here. And after that, you will be applying some filter condition. So whichever is required, only those you need to select. After that, you'll be using group by based on some column. And if you want to delete something on group by condition, then you will be using having. And this order by will execute after select. Okay, so here you are selecting field column 1, column 2, and column 3. So I want to order based on column 3. So then this will execute, right? So that is the reason after select, this will execute. Okay, so that is how the order of execution of these statements. Yeah. Um, okay, so maybe these things will continue tomorrow, these aggregation functions and everything. So any questions? And have you guys installed Azure portal?